Shiur? Sure. That's not my family. Good. But all the other sharks, those are my family. They are. You know the sharks from Long Beach?
I'm familiar with them, yeah.
So that's my family.
Okay, we're diving in. We're diving. Dave said we have to. We're diving into what we said we're talking about. We're talking about Parnassah. Yeah, because we're talking. Everybody wants money. Today we're going to talk about money and how we get money and the trick that the Rebbe is giving us. Okay. Anybody need money? Parnassah. Okay, today we're going to talk about Parnassah. Even though it's much. Okay. So let's go in. I just want to say a disclaimer, as I always say, is I don't know what I'm talking about. We spoke about yesterday about knowing that I don't know. So I'm getting to know more and more and more that I don't know. I'm getting to know more and more that how much I don't know. That's a darga. It's a madrega, right? If tachlis idea is ashaloi neda, that means the more you get to know that you don't know, that means you're growing. You're growing in your shemaim, and asagas alikus. So, but I really don't know, and especially this sif is very hard, and we've been talking about how hard it is. And today I really want to go into that place, into the hardship. So anybody feel free. I'm only saying my interpretation, which could be completely wrong. And I'm going to say what I think. Sometimes I say it passionately, and it sounds like so convincing and authoritative, but it's not. I really don't know. So I'm welcoming anybody to give me insight into this. It's a very, very hard sif, but I do feel like the Rebbe is giving us over here a way to understand how to get Parnassah and how easy it is to get Parnassah, not how hard it is to get Parnassah. It's just, I'm telling you, it seems like, okay, you know what, how about you got judge for yourself? Yes. We're diving in, and you judge. Okay, just a quick understanding. Rahmanas compassion leads to leadership. Leadership is to be Isaac b'yeshuva shalaylam, which means to bring das into the world. Not only is the tzaddik, who is the ultimate leader and the ultimate Rahman, Kimei Rachman Yanagim, that everything, and what it seems like compassion and Rahmanas is what turns on the engine. In order for this whole cycle to work, which we're going to get to in a second, the main platform is Rahmanas, compassion on someone else, but most of all, compassion on yourself. What is the engine that gets us to want to connect to Hashem? When we start having Rahmanas on ourselves. What prevents us from having Rahmanas on ourselves? We don't have das, so we don't know what to do, even if we do have Rahmanas. Let's say we take a feel Rahmanas, I'm so far from Hashem, I want to get close to Hashem. I start feeling compassion. Don't you have Rahmanas on yourself? You want to come close to Hashem, but you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do, so you just deny the Rahmanas like we do with other people, right? We don't know what to do. Many times people come, you don't know how to help them. You don't want to sacrifice time or strength or money or whatever it is that you need to sacrifice, and therefore you do nothing instead of doing something. That we spoke about this many times, that the feeling of compassion is not enough. We need das for the action. So the Rebbe teaches us that this is the platform and the engine to connection is Rahmanas, compassion on yourself, and that will bring you to das, because in order to have proper Rahmanas you need das, and that will bring to leadership, and that leadership will be, what will you do with that leadership? You're weiter going to give, you're going to have Rahmanas on the other person and give das to the other person, and you're constantly in this loop of das. Who started this? Who was the Rahman? Who was the Malik? Moshe Rabbeinu started this. He opened up das, Atar Israel das, Ki Hashem Elokim, and das is always finding Hashem in the screen of materialism. And every time I find Hashem and I can connect to that knowledge of Hashem that's in the screen of materialism, that is das. Says the Rebbe, that das is not something that stays in.
Lenses is a better way.
Okay, lenses, they're right. I said it many times. Lenses, binoculars, to be able to see. That das that we acquire through Rachmanis and through the tzaddik, that das doesn't just stay when we're living in this world. That das is something that continues in the next world, even when we depart from the world. How does that das stay in this world? The Rebbe teaches us that there are two types of positions. There is a position of the ben, which is the son, and the son who is makabel the das of his father. But that son is always questioning. This is my own interpretation on the difference between ben and talmid. Ben, the son is a son. When you tell your son to do something, what does he do? The first thing is why, right? Why? That why is the same machamisa mapish pashta that we're talking about here. In that because he's a son, and he's really being makabel the das of his father, but he's a son, so he has the closeness with his father to say why. The talmid is different. The talmid is makabel the das of his rebbe, and he doesn't question. There is no why, because the talmid feels empty, and he feels like the rebbe is always filling him up. The son feels that he's always being filled up, but he doesn't feel empty. He feels connection to his father, but therefore he's always in why. He's always in the place of why. Again, my own interpretation between the difference between Ben and Talmud. But the Rebbe tells us, what?
I heard in Yeshiva, I think it's a brisker word, that he said that the Chaim, if he would say that this table is a cow, so the brisker Rav would say, what does it mean by there's this din of a cow, what's the deal? And he said that a Baruch Bear will get down and start milking.
That's the difference between a Ben and a Talmud. Yeah. Good. Very good. So because he believed that whatever his Rebbe is saying, that someone is okay. So, but whatever it is, through these two components of Ben, there's two positions, actually, not two components, two positions of either am I a Ben or am I a Talmud, and if I'm a Ben, I have a hasaga of a Ben. It's a hasaga, it means I'm in a position of hasaga of connection and how do I say hasaga in English? Hasaga, anybody help me?
Desire.
It's more than perception. It's I was masig, I attained. Internalization, I guess. Internalization of Hashem, either from the position of a Ben or for a Talmud, then the das stays in the world. And we said, and this is very important here, that das comes down in a chain. It came down, Moshe Rabbeinu started, and today's Maschus of the Moshe Rabbeinu, that Moshe Mashahoya Shiur, that Moshe Rabbeinu, who was the leader, is the leader, will be the leader, is within us, is the tzaddik that is leading us today. The voices that we hear inside us is 100% this tzaddik Moshe Rabbeinu that is coming in to us. So the chain of das comes from Moshe Rabbeinu, and it goes down through Ben or Talmud of Moshe Rabbeinu, and weaves down all the way down to us right now. And when we're talking right now, Moshe Rabbeinu is really inside, neslabish in these diburim, because the das of Moshe is here because it came all the way from Moshe Rabbeinu. Says the Rebbe, now, not only is the tzaddik doing this avodah of merachim and miragim, not only is the tzaddik who has compassion giving leadership, but we are also doing the same thing. When two people are talking in Yerushalayim and they're giving das over to each other, each one becomes a talmid to the other person. And since we become a talmid to the other person, we are also doing yeshiva olam. We're also bringing das into the world through talmid or ben. In other words, through ben. But it seems like us, we're not in Ben, we're in Talmud, most of the time. I'm not saying we never get to Ben, but Ben is a bigger madrega. The way the Rebbe is getting us into the loop of Das is through the concept of Talmud. And how are we in the concept of Talmud? By sharing with each other, by learning with each other, by talking Yerushalayim with each other. That's how we get to this Das. So now we know how Das comes all the way down, but the Rebbe tells us there's two components of das. There is the seichel hapnim and the seichel hamakif. And so long as the pnim, like we said, the pnim and the makif are connected, which means as soon as I feel connected to Hashem, at that same moment that I'm connected and I feel maloi, at the same moment I recognize that I know nothing about Hashem because I got a new understanding of how much bigger Hashem is than my peanut brain, and therefore I understand now that I know nothing. As long as I'm connected to the loy neda, that means I'm in Yediyas Hashem, but I'm connected to the loy neda, then I am in the loop of das. Not only am I in the loop of das, but when I'm in that loop of das, I'm able to give over that das to you, because what came to me as an epiphany and a hasaga, an internalization of godliness, I gave over to you. And what is it? Gave it over to you. The Rebbe says, Nesroik and Sichle, my moyach gets emptied, and now I get a new makif. And then, when I get a new makif, my father gets a new makif, my Rebbe gets a new makif, all the way back to Moshe Rabbeinu, who gets a new makif. Where does he get the new makif from? Olam haba, which is Lamaylam and Azman. And he brings it into Olam hazeh. Says the Rebbe, that tzaddik, all the tzaddikim, but Moshe Rabbeinu b'frat, the tzaddik is, he has this bechina called koil. What's koil? Koil is ki koil b'shamayim v'aretz, when the Divrei Hayomim lists out the spheres of Hashem Hagdula, Hagvura, Teferes, V'Netzach, V'Hoid, ki koil. Ki koil, says the Targum, the ochid shamayim v'aretz. What does the tzaddikim do? The tzaddikim do? They unify shamayim and aretz from the highest madrega, which means they are bringing hasagas alikus of olam haba that are lemaylam and azman, that are higher than a definition, and because they are. The Rebbe doesn't say this, but this brought down a different Torah, because the tzaddik is the most. Here, let's go backwards. How does finite connect with infinite? It's impossible, right? Because anytime infinite becomes part of finite, it's infinite. Whatever part of finite becomes infinite, there's no part of infinite. Infinite is infinite, right? So how did the Bria happen? The Eibishter is Ein Sof, and we live in a Bria full of definition. Everything is defined. How did Ein Sof connector? So without going into the whole bria of chala upon the whole thing, but in as simple as a pimple, the tzaddikim. That means the Eibishter created the bria, which is we just have to accept it. He made a vacuum of his light. From that was a chala upon. Chala upon means the black hole. He tzimtzum the lashon of the Arizal is tzimtzum as a erletz dodim. The Eibishter was mitzamtzum, constricted his light to the sides. It made a vacuum. In that vacuum was no godliness, and that's how the Bria was created, within the vacuum of no godliness. So the question is, if Hashem created a vacuum of His godliness, of His light, then there's no light. And if there's no light, how do we get to the light? There's a machlokes whether it's the reshima, the impression, because there was once light, just like when you put a cup on a napkin and then you take it off and there's a circle inside, there's an impression. Since Hashem's light was once here before the vacuum, the impression of His light is the whole light that's illuminating of Hashem, that's illuminating within Olam Hazeh. And the real light is only in Olam Haba. That's one thing. The other one is that there are kavim, which I don't really understand, but there are kavim. There's a light circle, there's a mesayv of kolamim. Hashem is surrounding the world, and that there's light coming in with kavim, with these pipes or lines that are illuminating the world, and that's how we're connecting to them. But what?
One main kav.
What is one main kav that's coming in? I don't want to get stuck into the thing. However it is, the point is that the tzaddik is the tzaddik and the Torah are the two components that are in this world that are both finite and infinite. So by connecting to the Torah is oisis HaTorah, which are letters which have definition, but yet every ois is beyond this Ein Sof to the Torah. So the Torah has both a definition and it's infinite, and therefore that's the tool for us to connect it, or the tzaddik. Moshe Rabbeinu, Chetzi of Milamala was Malach, Chetzi Milamata was Adam after Mountain Torah, as I said, Kikar and Arpanav. The Torah says it's not no Kabbalistic. Moshe Rabbeinu was infinite and finite. The tzaddik represents the part of Shamayim and Aretz, from the highest madrega into the lowest madrega. That's what makes the tzaddik. If the tzaddik is only in Dorei Mala, there's a chesaron in the tzaddik. Because the purpose of the tzaddik is to be able to go from the highest place and come down to the lowest place to pick up the lowest Eid. That's what the Rebbe says over here. That's the inyan of Koil. So it starts off on the highest madrega of bringing in Asakas Alikus from Olam Haba into Olam Hazeh. But it really goes down that the tzaddik is giving a message to every single person. And there are people that are Dorei Mala, and there are people that are Dorei Mata. And not only there are separate people that are Dorei Mata, but each one of us are sometimes living in Dorei Mala, and sometimes living in Dorei Mata. Perhaps more times in Dorei Mata than in Dorei Mala. But either way, yeah, me too, don't worry, I'm with you. So either way, the tzaddik is the message within us. And what's the message of the tzaddik? The message of the tzaddik is to remind you that you are Kedushas Yisrael, and no matter what you did and what you sinned, it's not shaykh to you, because you're so holy and you're so delicate that sin and you have no connection. It's so much so that it has no connection that you can't carry the sin. It's something that you can't carry. And if you can't carry the sin, says the Rebbe, the tzaddik is able to see it. He gets these lenses, the binoculars, who said before, the lenses, and he's able to see. So I visualize, remember the cartoons where the guy was, I don't remember which cartoon, maybe it was Tom and Jerry, I don't remember. But the guys, they put a load on his back and he can't carry it until he's going, and then he falls to the ground, and then the load pushes him into the ground and he's smothering into. That's what's happening to us in the visual. Again, I'm taking it to my imagination, and I thought about this, in the visual of what the tzaddik sees in us. When we come to the tzaddik, we're coming to him with our problem of refuah, parnassah, the nachas from the kinder, whatever it is that you're coming to the tzaddik, what is he seeing? He's not seeing your handicap, disability of your physicality, or your finances, or your emotions, or your mental health, or your children. He sees beyond. He's looking at your heaviness of not being able. He sees your beauty. He sees your Kedushas Yisrael. He sees who you really are. And then he sees what's missing, the das that you're missing. And he instills you with das. He doesn't give you money. He doesn't help you, but all of a sudden you walked out of the tzaddik and you feel a geholfen. What is it? Why? Why? Because the operation that he's doing the surgery he's doing is way, way, way deeper than the surface of what we're seeing, because the tzaddik has das. But so do we get this das, and that is why the tzaddik gives us the message. In any position that we're in life, either he's telling you, remember, Hashem is with you, no matter what, no matter how much you fall, no matter where you are, the Eibush is with you. The Eibush is meloi chalor. And if you're far from Hashem, or you're close to Hashem, either way, he says to you, hey, buddy, you didn't scratch the surface. You have so much more to go. And the tzaddik constantly gives us this message. The message of Aye and the message of Malay, or in other words, Aye is the makif, the place of I don't know, and Malay is the place of I do know, I feel connected to you, Hashem. Says the Rebbe, when you have the klalius of Ben and Talmud, which means that you are so in awareness of, while you're going through your mundane day, of where are you, Hashem, and you're here, Hashem is here, Hashem is there, up, down, He's right next to me, at every moment of your day, till that momentum, this is my own, that momentum takes you to a new place called Ha'aras HaRatzon. And that place, ha'aretz ha'ratzon, we said yesterday, we defined that as the place where you are feeling your ratzon and the ratzon of Hashem are connecting because you're connected. You're in the place of ayin malay at all times. You're feeling this tremendous yearning. We've all felt this. Everybody's had these moments. This tremendous yearning that you can't even quantify. You can't even explain what it is that's happening to you, but you feel this tremendous want and desire to become close to Hashem. The Rebbe explained to us, this is what we learned yesterday, is that happens dafka be'es ha'achila, in the time of eating, which seems to be the most gashmiistic act that we are doing, because eating is the thing that feeds the body. I would think food more than sleep, but the Rebbe brings that's what happens be'es ha'achila. So when you're doing the most gashmiistic thing, you're able to come to the highest ruchnius delight possible in this world. And the Rebbe brings a pasuk. Why? Because it's all be'es ha'achila. Which Torah says the Eibusher gives us our food be'itay in its time. And there's another pasuk, ka'es yom Yaakov ma pa'al kel. The Rebbe makes a gzeira shava to ka'es and be'itay, even though they're not the same words, but that it's telling us this is talking about the highest level of what?
Beis and kuf are the same.
Okay, you're looking for the ways to make it think. I'm saying even if it's not, that's not what the Rebbe is trying to tell you. What he's trying to show you is that ka'es, which we said yesterday, is the place of l'malam and azman, ka'es, where you can't define. You can't define the time. You can't say it's be'ito is be'em is defined. I need parnassah today. I need to eat now. I don't have money now. Tomorrow it's not, ka'es is not good enough for me, says the Rebbe. Yeah. In this place of be'itoy, if you go through Ben HaTalmud, you get into this awareness where Hashem is providing for you. And I'm not basing myself on any kind of, we'll see soon, no kind of false securities. No kind of false securities where, what about tomorrow? Because my bank account is my security, my asset is my security. But you rely on Hashem, you have real betachon. Yeah. That's, and we could do it. We all say, you have to be on that madrega. No, you don't. Everybody thinks, and what's that madrega? That madrega is, I'm a shoyma abris, I go to the mikveh every day, I learn chatzos every night, I get up, and when I have that whole requisite, then I can have betachon. No, you butts! It's so stupid to think like that. The Eibusher gives the animals food. He wants to give you food. He wants one thing from you. Rely on me. Trust me. Say it's me. You don't have to be tzaddik everywhere to say, I trust you. I trust you. I rely on you. Because you are the provider, nobody else. Nothing else. All these middle things are all a game. It's all the game of you hiding behind these things and me thinking and trying. And I have to be challenged with this challenge to think that it's not you. But it's so easy to just rely on you. I don't have to be about madrega to rely on you. Because I can rely on Yankel for Parnassah as long as I think I'm getting it from him. I can get a sense of security from anyone. Why can't I get a sense of security from you? Why? So now let's take that into the. Okay. By the way, we're going. Yeah, we're going in. Oh, you're gonna. Yeah. You let me unhinge on this place. This is where I live. Zog the Heilige Rebbe inside. And the fact. We are in the big pamphlet. This, by the way, this was only giving you the Torah to whoever wasn't here, to give you the Torah till now, so that you know how to connect it. It's all connected and woven beyond fascination, and we are just privy to touch a dot of it. But I mean, it's not normal. It's not normal. I mean, you have to be really, I don't know. But I don't know how you could not see this. Fascination, it's beyond. Okay, Zog the Rebbe. Now I'm going to explain to you. You want to know why? Dafka be'eis achila. By the way, we're going to debate this soon, but eis achila is Parnassah. In other words, people want to make a difference of receiving food and eating food. When the Rebbe is talking about Eis Achila, when he's talking about the time of eating, it means Parnassah. That means it means receiving the food and eating the food. It doesn't mean just eating the food, like the food was there prepared for me. It's receiving. So Parnassah and Achila are one and the same. Otherwise, we won't understand this Sif, because that's what's been bothering me for 4 weeks. That it seems like it's two different things. Eating is Parnassah. Exactly. That means Parnassah. The whole tachlis of Parnassah is food. That's Parnassah. Parnassah is to be able to eat. Everything that we do with Parnassah is ultimately about eating. That's right.
Yeah, but also to each his own. You should be satisfied. Is also to each his own. To each his own. To each his own.
You still need food.
You can't help yourself, right? I can't. Okay. Says the Rebbe. The person who wants to tie his belt. Listen to these words. To become the mefarnas. Whatever, you're 18 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old, 50 years old, whatever it is. And you decide, okay, I want to be the provider. Mefarnas means I want to be the provider. Litain Parnassah, and I want to give Parnassah to who? To the people who are telling me, hinged on me. What? Dependent. For those who depend on me. Whether it's my family, or my shul, or whatever it is, I want to be the guy. You know that guy? Well, I never want to be that guy. Just want to say, don't want to. So the first prerequisite to be that guy is ish chayil. He's got to be a soldier. What does it mean to be a soldier? Ish chayil. The Rebbe says, not only he has to be a soldier, v'lo yiyeh hepech shekoyin shel mazel. And this is the second time the Rebbe brings these words. Not only does he have to be ish chayil, but he cannot be a shlamazel. Sounds like the Rebbe is being very specific here, and he's telling you that there are soldiers that are sometimes a soldier and sometimes a shlamazel. No, I'm not talking about that guy. Whoever you want to be a mefarnas, you want to be a provider, you have to own that position. They didn't like when I said responsibility. I think that the Rebbe is saying here responsibility, but maybe not. In other words,
He's saying maybe that you're saying that you can be an ish chayil and a shlamazel?
No. You can be an ish chayil sometimes and a shlamazel sometimes. He's saying, I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about you always have to be ish chayil. That's it. I said perhaps. Again, no. You can be an ish chayil and a shlamazel. Stop. Two opposites. But it sounds like you could be an ish chayil and have times to be that you're a shlamazel. In other words, now I'm chilling, and now I'm. I guess ish chayil, a soldier, is never chilling, right? A real soldier is always, he's an ish chayil, he's always on call.
When he talks about ish chayil, he's talking about ready to step up to the moment.
Yeah. You have to be ready. So you can be a shlamazel. And now, since you need to be ish chayil, says the Rebbe, why do I need this ingredient of ish chayil here? Why do I need you to be a soldier here? Because you need to have authority or control. If you don't have authority of control, then you can't get parnassah. So first thing he's telling us is you got to take. Responsibility. I don't see how else you learn this other than responsibility. Everybody's telling me no. You remember we were debating this in the car. You weren't so happy with this, but from the words it sounds like it's responsibility. Okay, says the Rebbe. Let's go. I want to get to the money. He's explaining why do you need authority? Because Parnassah comes from Malchus. And Malchus is authority. Malchus has many components to it, but the component of authority is one of the. You want to be a melech? You want to be a melech? Melech is you have to have memshala. You have to have authority. You have to be able to control. What's the raya? Come on, because of a melech. What?
I'm just trying to understand what you mean when you're saying control here. Control of oneself, control of how.
First of all,
control of situations? 'Cause
All of the above.
control the situation.
All of the above. Not the situation. Other than the situation. Other than the situation, you're right. The situation, but everything about what you just said, controlling yourself, having your own malchus, and controlling the people that are dependent on you. What it doesn't mean control. It means having authority.
Yeah,
Control. Yeah, it's a different. It doesn't mean control. It's authority. It's control is two sounds is no good. Authority. Right.
What you're saying, what he's trying to say, I think what he's saying is control, meaning can you have an impact on other people? Right? Now there's a person with authority has the ability to impact other people's lives. He doesn't really control them, but he can influence. What? Leadership. Yeah. By the way, this is the malchus that this is going back to Merachim and Yinagim. This is going back to leadership. What?
Everybody that's married knows you can't tell your wife anything, right?
Right.
You have to somehow make it happen.
Correct. Right. So sometimes you're doing it with the opposite of control. You go right. You're bittul, right. But you need to have control, and he's going to talk about V'huyim Shalbach in a second. He's going to Ilona Dechazia Dirva Uskiv. This is Daniel. Nebuchadnezzar had a bad dream, and he got up in the morning and he didn't know what to do. He called everybody, and finally calls Daniel, and Daniel tells him that the tree that you saw in your dream, I don't remember what the whole dream was, Revo Uskiv. It's very, very big and very strong. Umazan leKoilabei, and it has food enough to feed the whole entire world. Antu Malka, you are this tree. You know who the tree is? The tree is you. So you see from there that Daniel's prophecy to Nebuchadnezzar was that Parnassah comes from Malchus. Feeding people is because Antu Malka, because this tree that was able to feed the people is all coming because Antu Malka, because you are Malchus. Malchus is Parnassah. Malchus is providing. Malchus means, but another component of Malchus is providing. The Rebbe is connecting authority and Malchus and the providing of Malchus together. Wait, I'm sorry guys, this is not you gotta, now let's go. He's building as always. It's not, but first, this is the first understanding. The first understanding is you want Parnassah, you have to get it from Malchus. In order to get it from Malchus, you need to have authority. So far?
Yes.
So good. Yes? Dave, your mamas. I see Dave, your mamas. By the way, I believe that when you follow this thing, Be'ez Hashem, whatever you're doing, and whatever is going to, bada bing, bada bing, bada bing, bada bing. Oh, 1 second. So, okay, Misha to the Kabbalah Parnassah, someone who wants to receive Parnassah. Dave. You want to receive Parnassah?
I want to receive Parnassah.
Gavaldi. So she like tzad. I also want to receive Parnassah. I just don't want to work. So she like tzaz memzala. He needs to have a little bit of authority. Kedei she like ezeh shaychus malchus. In order for him to have shaychus to malchus, and Parnassah needs to have shaychus to malchus, he needs to have authority. Okay. So far we see that Parnassah needs to go to Malchus. But what does Achila have to do with Malchus? Says the Rebbe, says by Rus, that when Rus came back to Eretz Yisrael with Nami, and they didn't have any money, and they lost all their fortunes, because Elimelech was a shayfet and a multi-millionaire, and they went down and they married the whole story of Rus, and then they come back with bushes, and she comes back, Rus.
Oh, you just opened the Gemara because he's a Parnes. He's a Parnes
Boyaz.
in Eretz Yisrael, and during the Rav, he left. When everybody looks up to him to receive the Parnassah, this never done it.
Oh wow, very nice.
So he lost it.
Very nice. So he lost his Parnassah. He lost his Malchus. He lost his Parnassah. So he lost. Wow, beautiful. Very nice. Goyach. Thank you. So anyway, so it says that Boyaz, what?
And Boaz becomes the person who's.
Yes. Why? Because he's Malchus.
Right, and what comes from him?
David HaMelech, Malchus. Very good. Yeah. Okay. You see this? Gewaldig. This is what I like. This is called a chabura. This is not called I hate shiur. I like chabura. Anyway, so he says, so Rus says, I'm sorry, Boyaz says, Boyaz sees Rus going into the fields, taking the leket shechilpeya, and he says it's embarrassing. He comes over to him and says, listen, who are you? I work for Naomi. Oh, Naomi's my cousin. You know what? Le'esa oichel, and the time that everybody's eating, all the workers are eating, you also come to eat, and you're going to get a full course meal. You don't have to go to the leket shikchel peya. Haloim, says the Rebbe, the Gemara says, Ein haloim el malchus. What Boaz was telling Rus was, Le'esa oichel, goishi haloim. You need parnassah. Let's now take it in a touch. You need parnassah. You need food, right? You need parnassah. So here's the trick. Le'esa oichel, in the time of eating, goishi haloim. That's when you get malchus. That means malchus. Now it's very interesting, and I need help on this. I'll just tell you my thoughts. How does achila work with? It seems like the Rebbe is saying that the biggest time of malchus is the Eisa Oichel. That's when you see that. When is the malchus revealed? The malchus is revealed the Eisa Oichel. Now we see that, right? We see Achashverosh. As soon as Achashverosh one made a party that he was Mishnah Sholosh Malchus. It was 3 years that he had already. So the Medrash says that he thought that. Not he thought he was. He took. How do you say when he takes the malchus by force?
He usurped it.
Right. So he took. He wasn't a ben melech. Vashti was. He wasn't a ben melech. He took it away, and after 3 years that he was in his malchus, he felt, okay, now I'm making a suda, because now that's it. For 3 years they would still be able to fight me. Now I'm the melech al kol olam. He was the melech al kol olam, right? So he makes the big suda. That's where he's showing his malchus. Le'esa oichel. It's the time of. Again, this is my own Torah. Anyway, it's debatable. I'm just saying.
So oichel is something that a person needs on a constant basis.
Yeah.
And there's no malchus. In the malchus, the guy says, I'm the melech, I'm going to give everybody a set of clothing. When's the next time you need to see the melech? When your clothing wears out.
Right.
A year, 6 months, 2 years. But if the melech is going to provide parnassah, he's going to provide parnassah
All the time.
Chila
Be'itoi.
It's every day, it's constant. It's ongoing.
So you're saying le'oichel to malchus.
Malchus is because you want the malchus to be ever present, which is achila, which is a need that a person has on a constant basis.
Very good. That's very good. So you're saying it from a need. I'm also saying it. So we're saying we're saying a little different, but the same thing. You're saying from the need, the melech is always providing to the needs. But there's also I'm talking about a malchus where the melech is showing off his malchus. How does he reveal his malchus? Only through achila.
We say generally that
His revelation of malchus, that's how le'esa oichel goishi aloim is, you want to get malchus, you want to get memshala, you want to get authority. The place of authority is le'esa. Today we had breakfast this morning. The turnout was double the size, right? I'm saying food and malchus and leadership, and you want a leader understands food. There's nothing else to say.
The Navi goes out of
What?
The Navi goes out of his way to say what Shlomo HaMelech had in his name. How many cows they
Right,
how many sheep.
right,
Goes out of his way.
right. Why? Because that's malchus. Malchus zeigt sich. How do you say in Yiddish? Zeigt sich. It shows itself in achila. It shows itself in achila. So that's how I'm connecting malchus to achila.
So it's how you eat. In my home, we raise the children and ourselves.
Right.
We don't bring our face to the food. We bring.
That's also malchus. There's all etiquette, all fork, knife, how do you use all. That's where you see malucha. By the way, the Rebbe said that on my tish, the bnei melachim will come to learn how to be. There's such a sichel. How to fizach by seeing my tish. How my talmidim fizach. Malchus is tzaitzach in essence. I don't know how else to say it.
You like an animal.
It's a tzaitzach. Okay.
First, you push the guy at the buffet.
So far, Dave, I'm not leaving you hanging, even if everybody else leaves. By the way, if I'm going over, I got to finish this with him. I'm leaving tonight. I got to get to the thing. So far, I'm just going till you stop.
I got 18 minutes. And I got
Okay, so you tell me till you stop. So here, so far we have like this, that Parnassah comes from Malchus, and Malchus, the way to get Malchus, which is Memshala, which is authority, is Le'esa Oichel. Right? So far, okay.
But also,
Okay.
I gotta add in there, the chayil. I think the word
Oh yeah, chayil.
really important.
Very important. Very yes. Very very. But first, the chayil is only going to the chayil. We need the orders from the king. So the Rebbe is giving you the prescription. Chayil means the readiness, the Mesiras Nefesh. I'm ready. I'm ready to shoot the Arabs. Right now, you need to know the mechanics. What's your orders? You want to know how you get money, right? So let's go. So first, yeah, you're 100% right. Chayil, you have to be ready. I'm ready to be Mefarnas. I am ready to be Mefarnas. I want to provide. I am ready to provide. So first of all, tefillah, I just want to tell you, daven. I'm telling you, it helps. It helps. That not just it helps. It doesn't help. It's the way. Okay. Now look how the Rebbe brings it. Starts off. I want to be the provider. Okay. So what do? I need to get malchus. So where do I go for malchus? I get malchus. Okay. Now the Rebbe says, each person, whoever's married, knows that when they signed up that contract on the day of their wedding, it's called a ksuba, and on the ksuba it says, I will cherish eflach, eker. Anybody have the English translation?
Well, cherish, honor, and support.
Cherish, honor, and support. Better. Cherish, honor, and support. My wife, I take on a responsibility. As soon as I take on the responsibility, says the Rebbe, as soon as you take on the responsibility, you say, I'm going to take care, I'm the Mefarnes, I'm the Ish Chayil. All of a sudden, you get something called V'hu Yim Sholbach. You get the power to have authority, not control, but authority over your wife. By the way, you know that in the chuppah, I don't know if you guys did it, but whoever got married, there's an Indian to step on your wife's foot. Yeah, to step on your wife's foot.
No, I did not know that.
You killed her.
What you guys do?
You you.
Don't do it now.
Oh yeah, don't do it. If you didn't do it then, don't do it now. Do not do it now. So anyway, so what the Rebbe is telling you is, because look what happened. You took on the responsibility of being Mefarnes, and in the words of Mefarnes, you said, Oiker ve'ezoin, I will feed you. Right? Achila. So memela, you get memshala, you get authority. So it's the same idea of what we said before, that Rabbi has told Rus, when it comes time for the food, that's where you're going to get malchus. In other words, the memshala is coming from the achila. The Rebbe is now telling you, even though it's the response, it's the Ish Chayil, back to the Ish Chayil. It's now that I decided I'm going to provide, I am going to provide, and I'm telling who am I providing to? I'm providing to you. Then I get ksas memshala. So I want to be medayik that why does the Rebbe say ksas memshala? Because you took on one person to provide for. What the Rebbe is telling us here, I think, is the secret bomb. Is it's all totally on how many people you want to provide for. If you say I want to provide for Klal Yisrael, then you're going to get the malchus to provide for Klal Yisrael, like my friend over here. Me and him have this thing going, which is going to happen, that he says he wants, he wants money to be able to provide for Gans. If you want to be the mefarnes of Klal Yisrael, and you really want it, and you follow these mechanics, you're going to get it because it's totally in the Ish Chayil. The whole thing here, it's beyond. By the way, are you anybody understanding what I'm saying over here? It's crazy. It's totally, if you decide you want to be mefarnes, what's our problem? I don't know about you. I don't want to provide for the whole world. I don't want to. It's chesar to me. It's terrible, selfish. I just want for me, selfish me. All I want is for me. Maybe that's the mistake. Maybe that's why we don't have Parnassah because we're not in Ish Chayil. But if we, I told you, I told you, I warned you, but this is the trick. And this is, you have to start davening. I started davening, I changed my tefillahs. I started davening, I want to do for people, I want to give more people, I'm jealous of people that are giving, I wasn't. I want to provide, I want to be a Mefarnas. So maybe Mefarnas means spiritually, so I can learn Torah with people. Okay, Rabbi, whatever you want from me, but I want to be a Mefarnas. And if I want to be a Mefarnas, I want to be a Mefarnas to as many people as you want me to be Mefarnas to, but I didn't. All I asked for all my life was for me and my family and me. So I'm just saying, then you get more memshala. That's why he says ksas memshala. That means the key here is, and look at the next piece. It's going to be a raya. It's going to blow your brains out. Go to the next piece. And now all the sarim, the people, the ministers, the ones who want to be mefarnas. Anybody who wants to, he's saying it beferish. Tell me if I'm reading these words wrong. Please. Someone who needs to give more parnasa to more people that are dependent on him. He needs more authority. He's saying it beferish. It's not like a secret.
Is it after on more people or is it on bigger?
What? Do me a favor. Right? Please read the words.
They're already teluyim on him.
Because he took on. He said, "I'm going to be mefarnas."
Kol mi shetzarech, not kol mi sheroitze. Right? Can you call us some? Kol mi shetzarech litem parnassah.
It seems that they're already teluyim on him.
Yes,
which means
because he took.
You have to first take responsibility.
First taking the responsibility for the club.
Wanting to take responsibility in response to receiving is not what the Rebbe is saying. He's saying just the opposite. First, you have to take the responsibility, and then you'll get.
So I'm reading this in a way probably different than everybody else is reading this. Now I'm reading this in like, a guy who's got a job is taking on a certain amount of authority. A guy who's like opening a business is maybe taking more responsibility on his head. The guy who's going at do I have to, in order to provide for more people, step into a greater place of authority in terms of the business world, in terms of more taking risks, and sort of more taking ownership over.
Did you take responsibility for your wife and children?
Yes.
That's it. That's it. That move of taking that responsibility, that in itself is already giving you some kind of authority.
Yeah, but that could be.
The Rebbe is telling you how you get yoiser. That's exactly what I'm telling you. How do you get more when you take on more? Not your business. Don't expand your business. Expand the people who you want, the neshamas who you want to take care of, the people who you want to take care of. To be a provider for more people. Say, I'm not just providing my family, I'm providing for my brother and sister, my friend, my Klal Yisrael. You want to be, the more you take on the responsibility, and that's why I said it was responsibility of providing for, the more authority you get. The more authority you get, that means you're going into Malchus, and now there's a whole second part. But this is part one. This is part one.
Yeah. It makes sense. On a very basic mathematical level, it would make sense if you read it that way. Right?
Yeah.
On a very Torah level.
Yes.
You have more employees.
But it's not. He's not saying. But by the way, it could also be
more employees.
By more. Yes, if you have more employees because you're feeding more people and Yiddish people in Klal Yisrael, and their dependence on you, they're equally same dependence. They're also your dependents. You're dependent. It's also your dependent. But you have to take on that responsibility. I am responsible. Ana eflach. What's the word? Ana eflach ve'ekev. What did you say? Cherish. What was the word? Cherish. Honor.
Honor and support.
Honor and support. As long as you say those words, you really that's the Ish Chayil. Here the Rebbe is telling you the requisite for Ish Chayil. V'ana ekev ve'ezim ve'eflach. So the next part, by the way, is the real hard part. Where it's if we start it, I'm stuck in it. But in short, the Rebbe is going to explain where does the Parnassah get the money from. That means there's another part that's happening spiritually. This was the practical part, what we need to do. The practical part is to understand that we need to take responsibility to provide for the people that we want to provide for. And based on that, we know that the Parnassah comes from Malchus, and Malchus is Be'ez Achila. So I know that when I'm in the time of eating, in very simple things, I make a bracha before and a bracha afterwards. I'm connecting everything to Hashem in the time of eating. With the das, that means I have ayin malay while I'm eating, in the time of eating, and then I'm spacing. That's what the tzaddik, I told you, I was Shabbos by a tzaddik, Ramayl. I watched him, when he's eating, he's connecting his face, this guy he's not here, he's here, but he's not here. He's very here, but at the same time, he's always in awareness and conscious of Hashem. He's taking a piece of, when I taste that piece of meat, how good does it taste, or how bad does it taste? I'm not connecting, I'm distracted. But if I would be going into Ayah and Malay there, you understand? Or in other words, if I would think for 1 second, wait a second, is this Ayah or is this Malay? Am I feeling Hashem now, or am I feeling disconnected from Hashem? Then I will get to this place called Ha'aretz Haratzon, which will give me the ability to mamish, take the money off the trees as much as you want, as much as you need to be mefarnes, your mamish. And I believe 1 billion trillion % that we can. This is a trick. This is it. If you you don't have to be a big Baal Madrega for this. You just have to believe and rely. You have to really rely. My security is, I keep saying, there are people that, they fall backwards. When you tell them they're going to catch you, they fall backwards. Right? And they trust you. I can't do it. I can't do it. I tried 1 billion times. I can't do it. I can't do it. But on Hashem, I want to believe that I could do it. I could do it. Yeah, I trust you because when you start thinking about the world in a spiritual way and understanding that it has no shaykhis to what I'm really seeing here right now, that I'm only seeing the most external view of what's really happening over here, I'm in fear, man. I'm in crazy fear. I don't know, crazy fear, right? If you think about what's really happening, so I have nothing the only comfort is you. The only comfort is you, Hashem. The only comfort is you. I mean, I'm talking a big talk, but that's how I think sometimes. Okay, so I'm trying to think like that all the time. Yeah?
All right, so question here. So what is my wife also works. She also brings in Parnassah.
Right.
What should the relationship of that be? Like, how is that,
She's also getting, she's your assistant. She's helping you. That's the way it should be.
I think you're focusing on
the money. Yeah.
The mechanics.
Exactly.
It's not about the money.
mechanics, right?
It's not about the money. It's about
mindset.
taking the malucha.
It's the mechanics. The money will come. That's what he says.
The malucha comes from you saying, I am taking responsibility. Not I am going to make money and therefore I am going to take responsibility. I am taking responsibility. I can tell you that unequivocally there is no way to how do I want to say this? That don't get stuck on how the Ribono Shel Olam is going to provide for you. Okay? He has more minions than you can imagine. He can create literally out of thin air a business deal that will make you millions of dollars. But what we're talking about here is taking the melucha. It's creating the scenario whereby you're the person who is appropriate to receive that shefa and bracha because it is what you need for your melucha to do for other people. So it's not a question of whether your wife works and you work and together your salaries add up to X dollars and X amount of dollars and you need or don't need that amount of money, that's thinking.
That's the results.
So
Those are the results.
That's part of the question. What does it mean? If I'm supposed to have the malucha, but she's earning half the money, do I really have the malucha? Does she have half the malucha? What's the relationship between these?
You're quantifying the malucha based on the amount of money that someone is bringing in.
Okay,
It's not about the money.
Okay.
Don't you want money?
So
don't think about
Don't
it.
tell me what I'm not doing. I'm going to ask him now. This is the question. If it's my malucha, then shouldn't I be the one providing? Shouldn't I be the one who's coming forward with it? And if somebody else is providing or helping provide, then what does that mean about my malucha?
Yeah.
Can I give you an answer? Then
No.
I'll answer.
No, I've got 3 minutes. I've got 2 minutes. I need to go.
I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I like him. I'll tell you why I don't know the answer. You're asking a question that's beyond my thing because you're going into the mice of it. I'm saying, but what I do agree with what Chaim's saying is that you're focused on the end result, not on the mechanics. Well, once you just hear me, David. Here, listen to what we're saying. If you focus on the mechanics, the results will come automatically. That's what he's saying. In other words, your focus. Why? Aye. I don't know. Aye, Malay. I don't know what it is. But
Simple question: what does a melech do? He delegates.
Mm-hmm. Yes, right.
Not bringing in or not doing is not about. The delegation is saying that this is my malucha. I have sarim. So your wife can be a quote unquote a sar in your malucha. So I have people who work for me. Some people bring in more money. Some people bring in less money. Some people don't make me money at all. They're only an expense point. And other people make me a boatload of money. I don't do anything. Right? And I'm saying in my little malucha of my business where I have employees.
That's my business. That's my business too. I'm trying to understand
so that's what I'm saying.
the husband and wife dynamic. You keep making it back to the money.
So the husband dynamic.
What the dynamic
So one
is
second. According to the Torah that we're learning here, the v'huyim shalbach is regardless. Let me tell you something. When I first got married, I was in Koil. I was living in Israel. I was in Koil. My wife she worked in the government in Mystery of Parnassah, and she was the breadwinner. And we lived on her money. Was she? Well, it happened later on. Not in the beginning. Was she the boss? No. That happened later on. That's when that's
what you hear.
But she wasn't the boss. In the beginning, it was me. I messed it up. But it doesn't make a difference who's bringing it in. By the way, the whole Parnassah comes from your wife. The Gemara says, "Techabdu neshachaychu kehechet tesashu." The Gemara says, "Be mechabed your wife because that's what's going to bring wealth." The Parnassah be'emes is not you. The woman brings the Parnassah spiritually.
It just hit me. The woman is the one who really takes care of the house.
Yeah, Akaras Habayis, which is the Malchus.
Which is the Malchus.
Which is the Malchus. Dave, one thing, I just want to know something. Did we get a little bit? At this, we got to go more. I'm not here tomorrow, but I just want to say that here, this guys, and take it to the next. Just so you know, the next part of this is the spiritual part. Where does Parnassah get money from? Where's Parnassah getting? Where's the Malchus? I'm sorry, we're saying Parnassah comes from the Malchus. Where does the Malchus get it from? So now the Rebbe is going to take it into the spirituality because Malchus is the lowest sphere, and when Malchus goes up to Chachma, even though Chachma is so much bigger than Malchus, but Malchus has a tool called Remazim Yadai that is able through that to get the money, and when Malchus gets that money based on our bitchainas, based on our, I'm talking to you in short, a trailer, based on how much we rely on Malchus, how much are we relying on the Malchus of Hashem? We're in the office of Hashem. How much are you relying on your boss to pay you? That's how the Malchus will go and get from the Yam HaChachma, which is where the money is endless, where there's no, and take as much as you need. So it's mamish, like I'm telling you. And the more I'm learning it, the more I'm even talking about it, I'm saying the Rebbe is telling us a spiritual way to make. You want $1 billion? What do you want? $1 billion? $1 million?
My 11 o'clock meetings can move to 11.
What do you want? What do you want? You want $1 million? You want $1 billion? What do you want? First decide, before you decide the amount of money, decide how many people you're providing for.
What's the story? The Kli.
Yeah. That non-stop. So, yeah, me too. By the way, I have that. You have that too. I don't need a bank account to have that. All I need to do is Hashem.
Surely if you take on the malchus.
What?
Surely if you take on the malchus,
Yeah, especially if you. That's, by the way, that's my fear. You understand? That's where I feel like I'm going to be broke, because I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why he's saying Gavaldi, because the malchus is what am I doing? I'm employed by you. So some people he's employed to give tzedakah. I'm employed to teach Torah. As long as we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, that shefa's coming vadai. The problem is when you don't do what you're supposed to be doing. Ashrei, no?
I suppose.